Yes. Hello.
Okay, so this is the third session. Let me share with you here. So again, we are inheriting from the library item, and that's inside the class, class book and class CD. But the most important thing that I would like to share with you here that because that is in the syllabus compared to the other things. Here he create this book from the book class that is already inheriting from the library item, and also the same here. Okay, even though he didn't define new inside, but he still used new here, so as a constructor. So again, just you see here, this is the only thing that in this class, but he still created a new constructor, a new empty new constructor, and he called it, and it works for it. But then he have to call create here. So this create actually does not call anything in the book class, because the book class does not have any create. It calls create here in the library item. That's what I wanted to explain and share with you. Does this make sense?
I didn't understand.
Okay.
The create part.
Okay. So okay, that's the thing here that again that's truly part of the syllabus. This is an example from the syllabus. So a library item is a base class, and I told you before we have two options. We can use new, and we can use create. So both of them can act as a constructor. Okay, and so we know library item, we have two items that inheriting from it, book and CD. Class book here, class book and class CD, both inherit from library item, right?
Yes.
Good. And then if I want to, so first I create an instance, an object from book, and I call it here new book.
Oh.
Okay. So when I call new book here, it calls the constructor of the book class, but it does not call anything on the base class. So when you call the constructor of the inherited class like book and CD, you have two choices. You have to call this here. You have to call the constructor of the library item or the class you inherit from. You can call it here, or there is examples that I will show you later that use what. So inside here, inside the book class, he will write a new constructor. No, let me not use that kind of free. Let me. So here he have a choice to create public sub new. Sorry, this public sub new is a constructor here, and inside it here, and sub inside it here, he will actually call MyBase, and then he will call either create or even new. Do you know what that means? Did you see that before?
No.
Oh, really?
No.
Okay. So the point here that that's quite strange. So I would consider this new is a constructor for book, the book class. Okay, but I need also to be able to use the variables inside the library item class. How can I do that? I need to call the constructor of it. So I need to call that constructor, I need to pass it also a few things. So this is the constructor of my base class. My base class in this case is the library items. So does this make any sense to you? So see.
Library item, what do you mean?
So see. So library item here have.
Oh, the class. Okay.
So library item have a lot of variables here, right? And
Yes.
in its constructor here, it take T and A and I, okay, for title, and then author, and then item ID, okay. So it takes three things.
Okay.
When I create the book class, I need to how to say, to manually construct the base class, which is the library item. It will not be constructed by itself. It have to be created, and I have to pass it the parameters that is required here. So again, I can just now remove new, and I can put create, sorry, and I can put new here, okay. And then from inside the book class, I call MyBase, whatever it is, it will go to what we inherited from. Does this make sense, or it's complicated? Slightly complicated, I believe. Hello, can you still follow? Hello, hello, I don't hear you. Hello. Okay, so far whatever I said, because I asked you many times if you is that clear to you, but I didn't hear anything, so that's why I slightly confused.
I got disconnected at that time.
Okay.
I was here to, yeah, you explained the TAI.
So so what I wanted to tell you in short, that when you create a class that is inherited from the base, this is called a base class. And so again, here we have a base class, right? The library item. Typically, we don't need to. So we always like to create items like here, like the book and CD and whatever we have in this level. But when we create a class from here, from book, we want to use the variables inside the library item, right? Because that is the main reason that we inherited actually from here, right? So there is certain variables and methods that we want to use from here. To be able to use it, we need to call the constructor of the base class. Here, this is a base class. Okay. So a base class, okay, to be able to call the constructor for it, we have to call MyBase.new, and then we pass it whatever parameters that we have, N, I, A, whatever parameters that is needed, we have to pass to it to initialize the variables, right?
Okay. Yes.
Okay. And we have to do that manually. We can do it from inside. We have two choices. We can call that constructor from inside the constructor of the objects like book or CD, or we can call it from outside. So if we call it from outside, that is the example, actually our example here. What this guy is showing to us. So you see here, he created the book, and then he called on using the book object name, he called create. So this create will go inside the base class and call the create method and execute the create method. The create method take title, author, and item ID. Once we do that, we will initialize the variables inside the library item. Does this make sense?
Okay. Yes.
Okay, that's good. Okay, I know that we need some kind of practice to be able to. So, since we already come here, I would say let me do some practice with you. See here. So we have we talked a while ago about employee class, okay, and I said I wanted to create another class that is called part-time. So part-time inherits from employee one, okay. So except that it have a property or a variable that's called hourly rate that only belongs to part-time. So I would like you to see one thing here. First, okay, I would like you to see first here before we go. So in the part-time class, let me share that again. So you see my screen? The part-time class here is inheriting from employee, right? And also we have another class that is full-time. Here, the part-time guy or the class is actually have hourly work because it's not full-time. And we have another method called get hour worked. But because I use properties, I didn't need to get this get hour worked. And I will show you how I'm able to get hour worked without creating that method. And here, because it's full-time, so it's a yearly salary, okay? And he created a method get yearly salary, right? And the thing here that again, in the employee class here, I created some of the variables as protected. And all the variables that is not protected, it will be private and I cannot have access to them. So let me share again the code now with you. So you see here, I use protected only a date joined. And inside the part-time class, I'm able to set the joining date for that part-time employee. Okay, so you see here, there's no variable date join, right? But I'm able to get a parameter and I'm able to assign something to it. Okay, and I will check with you something like that, and then also I would say so this is a name, right? Let us try to create a sub here, public sub, that used to set name. So I will pass it in as a string, and then I will say end sub, and I will try to check if I'm able to set the name. So the name is like that, and I pass it the parameter, and so that is a way for me to access a private variable. So let us see that how it works. I go to main here. I would like to show you similar to what I explained to you. Now I have a part-time class, and I call the constructor of the part-time class. So even if I don't create, I have a choice here. So I can create a public sub, new, okay, and I can say end sub, and I can also just I can say part-time object created. I can do something like that, okay, and let me see here. I can also come here like that, and Oops, page down. Yeah. So let's call part-time again. I created part-time, and then from freelancer, the part-time class, I call create, and I pass it two variables, two parameters. And actually that is called on the base class. So if you see here, that is what I'm calling here. I pass it the name and the staff number, okay? And but you see, if you see the original class, actually I'm using new, but here I'm using
Yes.
create. So I'm able to change whatever I want. I mean, that is the flexibility that you have here. The point here is that if we get you create or new, you need to understand that this is a constructor, and if there is a question about it, then you're able to answer it. That's a point. You can, if you are
Yes.
confused from create, always use new, and there is no problem with that. Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. And I will try to run and see. So can you see here? So he's telling
Yes.
us, he's telling us what?
Access the.
So he's telling us that employee one class underscore name is not accessible in the context because it's private. So
Okay.
my effort to actually try to set
Should
the
change
name.
it to protected.
Yes, if I change it to protected, then I'm able to use it. But since it is private, I'm not able to use it. So I have to comment it here. I believe if I commented it, then it should work fine. Let's try. Okay, so as you can see, this is a line that can tell us where we are here. So we created a part-time object. It's created here, you see. So you have a choice. You can put something inside the constructor, and the constructor is executed when I call new. Is that clear to you? And then, can you hear me?
Yes, your voice is breaking a bit, but I think that's my connection.
Oh, okay. So can you, yeah. So if my voice is not clear to you, do you mind, please, if you can write even in the chat, so I'm able to know?
Okay. Yes.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. And then what I want to show you here is that I call the constructor of the base class, which is employee, and that actually assign noon and 74, which is a staff ID. Can you remember that here?
Yes.
Okay, that's good. And then I tried here to set the hourly rate to 100. Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay, so hourly rate here, I never created a method to set the hourly rate. I just use what here? So I set it as a property, and I use the same name here that I set I put for the property, and then I'm able to set and get its values here. Does this make sense to you?
Yes.
So you see my class is quite short. I don't need to create any methods here. Okay. And then I would like to share with you here, I'm able to get the name. So from the freelance, which is actually a part-time class, I'm able to get the methods name and staff number. But why I'm able to do that, even though it's private? Do you have any explanation for that?
You put it in the get method. Can you?
Okay, so again, now this is name, right? And it's private.
Yes.
But again, why I'm able to read it?
Yeah. Public read only. Publicly.
So yes, the main reason I'm able to get it is just because I declare name as a public property. So once I call name, I'm able to read whatever inside the private variable here, and the same goes here. So the staff number here that I called from here, actually it is not read only. I can set it also. I have the choice to set it from outside here. Okay, and I can set it without also set and get. Okay, so again, and I'm able also to access the job. So the job here, I set it to by default in the constructor, I set it to technique, and I set the job here, I set it to property, so I don't need to also create any set or get, and I was able to call it, and it showed me technique. And then here, because again it's a property, so I assigned a different value for it. So can you see I put it in engineer, and then I call again the job to see if it's really changed or not. So I get engineer here instead of technique in the first time. So that's the difference between executing here and here. Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay, that's perfect. So I will move to another concept that is let me see. That is part-time. Yeah, part-time. So again, I want to share with you here. So I told you before, we have two choices. I call the base class. Who is the base class of part-time?
Employee.
Okay, and when I call my base here, it call what?
It calls. Can you repeat? Sorry.
So okay, I would like, my question to you is that this is a constructor of, so this constructor belong to part-time. This constructor
Yes.
belong to part-time, not employee, right?
No.
So how to initialize employee? Employee have variables inside it, and it have constructor. How to call that constructor?
MyBase.new, and then the parameters, the
Okay.
variables.
Perfect. Good. Okay. Then I would like you to help me. So if you can see here, now in the employee class, we created a constructor that is called create. Can we change it to new? Is it possible to change it to new? Okay. So if we change it to new here, okay. And are we able to adjust the constructor here in the part-time class so that we are able to call the base class from it? Can we do that? So we have seen some example, right? So if we understand correctly, then we are able to modify. So first of all, what the constructor here takes? It takes what? It takes name,
N and S.
and S, right? So we can
Yes.
copy that like this here, and we go we go here, it will take N and S. Okay, so now what I need to do here, what I need to write to be able to call the constructor of employee one. How to do that?
MyBase.new.
I pass it N and S, right?
S. Yes.
Okay, but if I run, I will face a problem. Why do you think I will face a problem? So actually,
is the property set to read only? Is it like public read only?
okay. Part of what is required here is that you are able to understand the problems here. So this is the error message: argument not specific for parameter n, public sub new. So he is complaining that on line 163 there is a problem. 163, see here. So we go to main 163 here.
Okay.
What we need to do here? So now our first constructor of part-time did not have anything inside. It doesn't take any parameters. But now, when we change it that, we make it take something, right?
Yes.
So what do we need to change here?
So we have to put the parameters over
Like
there
that?
as well.
Okay. So can we copy that here? We give a name and stuff number. Is that fine?
Yes.
Okay, let's try to run.
I can't see anything. Has it shown up? Okay. Okay, never mind.
So yeah, create again. There is one error now. It is on line 164. He's saying create is not a member of part-time. So 164, he's telling that there is no create. And so why is that?
Because we used new, but it should work, right?
No, wait. If we create new, we should call new. And if we create, if we put create, we should call. I mean, yes, new and create have the same effect, but they cannot be called. So if you create public sub new, you have to call new. If you create public sub create, you have to call create. So does this make sense?
So over here, yeah. So over here we put new instead of.
Yes, exactly. But we have to close and enter again. Okay.